welcome back after I-46, guys. I'm Greg. Joining me is Commander X and Cadus, of course, and we're here for episode 33 of Pirate Radio, I think it is now. Basically, we're going to do LAN rundown, well, a little bit of LAN rundown. We're going to do the Sunday, then an overall look at LAN. Then we're going to hit all these new teams, everything that's been thrown up after the LAN finishing, and then kind of predict what Prem's going to look like next season. That's basically our aim for today. So we'll just start off with the Sunday at I-46. I think Xavi's got all the results and stuff up there. So Xavi, why don't you let us know what the scores for the Epsilon versus LG lower bracket final were. Of course, guys, there were only two matches on that Sunday. So why don't we talk about the lower bracket final now, Xavi?
Yes, LG stomped it, basically. I think it was 5-0 first map on Badlands, over pretty quick, and then 3-2 on Snake Water, with LG taking a 3-0 lead. And sort of with about 10 minutes to go, Epsilon really stepped up their game and almost were able to edge out a draw, but couldn't and were knocked out, making an all-NA final.
Yeah, Epsilon, it felt like they spent the whole LAN relaxed, not really doing very much, not even turning up. You know, Stefan wasn't playing well, Extreme wasn't playing that great, and then you come into that game, and they basically started stepping up with the last 10 minutes to go. Their last 10 minutes of LAN, when their LAN, their tournament lives were on the line, they actually turned up and played. But I'm just gonna have to pause this download that I've got. So when their actual tournament lives are on the line, they stepped it up a little bit, but couldn't manage to push it through, get to that third map. Personally, I felt if they got around on Badlands, the whole of that dynamic of that match would have looked so much different. Because as soon as Epsilon got around, all the supporters behind them got behind them, and they got a second round so quickly because of the extra momentum they got. And if they had got that momentum earlier in the game, then I feel they probably might have been able to edge it out. But, hats off to LG. Absolutely smashed it, in that game. Do you want to talk about the final now? Or just Cadus, do you want to mention that game? Did you see that game?
Did I see the I-46 final?
No, the lower bracket final.
Oh, yeah, I saw it. Yeah, it's basically like how you said. It was just too little too late. I don't really know what the fuck was happening. I just woken up, so I kind of just, watching and booing every 2 minutes when LG took a round. I don't know, man. Too little too late, wasn't it? They fucking did shit. And then they got LG gave them an inch and they tried to take a mile, but it was only 5 fucking minutes left. The first time they actually wiped them. That's what I said. When it happened, just before the game turned around, I said that's the first wipe Epsilon have had. So whoever was.
Adam's saying something to us, and some of you might not be able to hear it. I don't know what's going on, unless he's not meant to be speaking to us. Oh.
Adam, mute yourself.
Adam. Yeah, Jesus.
Get the fuck out, Adam. This is a period.
Who does this guy think he is?
Technical issues. Right, let's talk about the final then. We kind of mentioned the lower bracket final, All-American final, Epsilon pretty much got shat on. Let's talk about final. Go for it. Xavi, do you want to mention the score? All that jazz?
The score? Oh, I definitely have that tab open. But basically, Mix Up took it in 2 maps. I think it was 2-1 Gravel Pit, and then 4-3 on Gully. Wait.
Were you even at the final, Xavi?
I was, man. I was pretty drunk, though. Me and Dunk got behind LG and pretty wasted. So I don't actually remember a lot of the finals, but I remember being excited a lot of the time. I've got the actual scores now. Gravel Pit 2-1 to Mix Up. Gully Wash 4-3 to LG, and then Badlands 4-3 to Mix Up, who took for gold and took was it 2,500 first place prize money?
Yeah. Second place was 1,250. I don't know what the rest of the money was.
That one happened.
Yeah. Did you watch it, Cadus?
I did actually. I managed to catch it this time.
Oh, good. Okay, so
enjoyed it.
Should we talk about the map choice of Gravel Pit quickly? From a spectator's point of view, at the event, it was not fun to watch. I normally love watching Gravel Pit, but from an actual at the event, there's a massive crowd. It's so hard for the crowd to get behind anybody because the plays are so disjointed. There's a minute between every push, or there's just players bombing in that kind of really don't do anything. And you can never just keep getting behind somebody, which means that someone will go and get a frag or 2 frags, right? You get behind them, and then their team will get another kill, and everyone will start cheering the next kill, and then the next, and all that jazz, and hypes up the atmosphere. Instead, it was kind of like a really dead first map. That's what it felt like to me, except for
Well,
like big plays that like Platt got and stuff like that, and Hardblue managed to kill himself by cratering instead of landing on the plate. That sort of thing, apart from that, there wasn't really that much like noise from the crowd. I don't know what you
I
thought.
I don't think it was G pit. It was just the fact that, like, did you notice how every fucking time that was set was about 10 minutes? Like, how often do
Yeah.
you fucking see that? Especially from
Yeah,
like the Yanks,
true.
like they normally put up really quick times, but just none of them could fucking crack like B. Like they just kept failing at the B push, which slowed the game down to infinity. Like, I mean, G-Pit's notorious. Like the reason it's been around for so fucking long is because it's fun to watch. Like that's the whole thing. Everyone fucking hates playing it, but it's really fun to watch. And just this time, like because the initial attack always took 10 bloody minutes, it was just so slow.
Like
I
when
mean,
it got
like
to like the C defenses, like taking
yeah.
C, it got really excited and that got everyone up a bit. But it was
Yeah,
just
literally
getting to
those
that
were the best
stage.
moments. Like of the whole final, like I think the C, like probably the golden cap C was the best, but not that much ahead of the other Cs. Like they were really fucking interesting. Like by far, like the highlight moments for me. It's just they were so far apart because just I don't know what the fuck was going on. They just no one could push B.
Maybe they know each other too well. Like they know what the other team's gonna do on Gravel Pit from like their numerous encounters.
I don't think so. I just think Gravel Pit was a terrible map. Like for the first map, like going on to a main stage, like new PCs, new setups, like the first map is Gravel Pit. Like I just think that's a bad idea. It should have been the second map in my opinion. Like, because obviously it had to be one of the first two because it was mix-ups. Like,
Mix-ups
they got
choice.
they got the decider on one of the maps. So, but I think it should have been second. Like, just because, like, I think the teams needed to kind of warm to the stage before playing a map like Gravel Pit. Because, yeah, I think like
Okay.
main stage nerves just kind of fucked the attack.
Do you feel that Mix-Up deserved to win that map?
Fuck it, man. No one deserved it. They both deserved like a frying pan to the face and just get on with the next map after it. But
Yeah.
I mean, they capped quicker twice. So like, did the team that did better win? I mean, did the team that did better deserve to win? No, of course.
Okay. Fair play, fair play. Well, obviously
Fucking
it went to Gully Wash afterwards, which was LG's map pick. LG had actually played Gully Wash against them earlier in the weekend, in the upper bracket final, I think it was, and lost 1-0, like a really, really slow Gully Wash game. And then they actually picked it. Are you surprised that they picked that map, guys?
No, I think they were talking about the map after it. After that one, they lost 1-0, and they were like, the only reason we lost is because we fluffed every last burst. They were like, there's 5 or 6 times we attacked last with like an advantage and just messed it up. So I think they felt as long as they could iron out those last pushes, they could have taken that map, and that was the only difference. And obviously that was the map they played at the end of the Saturday, after they've been up since 10 a.m. playing all day,
Yeah, that's a good point.
on and off. So maybe they were just like, and I think they had a talk about what they wanted to do if he was on last. So I presume they felt pretty confident they could like convert those last pushes.
Okay, well, should we talk about how Mix-Up played? Because, like, all I remember from that map is cheering every single time Pure died, and it was a good, like, 20 odd cheers or something like that. Like, he
What about that fucking
died a
crits,
hell of a
man?
lot.
The other
crits on
big
Gully?
cheer.
What? Who? You just
The
got? I
crits,
had no
man.
idea which crits.
The
I don't
crits on
remember
Gully
it.
where he crits the scout into main lobby.
Oh God,
and then,
yeah.
like, I don't even fucking know
Oh
what he was
my.
badly doing.
He was with the demo man. They got 100% crits. He runs off to heal the scout. His Platt runs in and dies. And then it's like, okay, well, cut your losses. You've got a crits advantage. Go back. No. He runs in with a scout. The scout gets neatly 2-shot, and the crits is wasted. Like,
He doesn't even
oh
didn't
my
even push it
God.
near anyone as well. He just crits them into lobby and run all the way through lobby
Yeah.
to main before going anywhere near. I mean, obviously it's like a main stage and that shit happens, but from like a calm spectator's point of view, it just looks fucking ridiculous.
My
Mhm.
favorite bit though had to be when Hardblue was chasing Shade after mid, jumps around from small choke towards second. He told me he was trying to shoot a rocket at Shade, but just
That's what I thought
hits
it
the
was as
floor
well.
of balcony and just kills himself straight up.
If
Everyone
from,
on Shade's point of view sees it coming.
From Shade's point of view, as he's running back from choke towards bottom lobby after they get wiped in middle, right? Shade kind of starts running towards the bottom lobby door, sees Hardblue jump, and like neatly keeps running forward so that he runs under the wooden bit. So Hardblue's like above the wooden pit at all times, so he can't actually shoot Shade. And Hardblue just apparently just got frustrated or just decided to try and shoot him and just shot the wooden bit and killed himself. It was pretty funny. what else happened? I don't think there was very much else. Of course, what did the map end in the end? 4-3 was it?
Four
So
three to mix up. No, to LG on Gullywash. Sorry, yeah.
yeah, LG took like a really quick lead, didn't they? They went like 3-0 up and kind of tried to slow play it a little bit. Mix Up managed to get back into the game, but LG won. And for Badlands, was it? It was Badlands the last map, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
What was the score? I
4-3
forgot.
mix up.
Okay. Oh yeah, Mix Up tried that like heavy defense on middle and Spire and stuff, didn't they? When they were ahead.
Slowed it down loads. Yeah.
Yeah. Which kind of bit them in the arse a few times. I'm pretty sure LG would like won every push they made when they had tried to do that heavy play. From what I seem to remember.
Yeah, I didn't really think it worked. I mean, like, you could say it worked because they won the game in the end, and that was like their closing strategy. But as far as like cutting it close, compared to like the fact that they were 2 rounds up and they started it,
Yeah.
like they were like controlling the game and they were 2 rounds up. They could quite easily have taken more rounds. Like, I mean, they squandered like good advantages for the sake of doing it, and nearly like, nearly went to golden cap. There's another minute on the clock. It was like it worked, but I wouldn't say, yeah, like
We
it
say this a
wasn't
lot
like
in like in TF2. Like turtling just doesn't seem to work. Like especially a team like Mix Up. Team Mix Up are an aggressive team, and then suddenly on the biggest stage of all, they're turtling when they don't normally turtle. It's not something they're used to. It's not their normal play style. It's not what they're used to doing day in, day out. And we've seen other teams do it before as well, and it just falls apart for them when we try and do it.
well, it can work, but it's just they didn't do it very well. It's like you can tell, but you can't. I don't know. On something like CP2, I don't think you can just tell. I think you have to like tell until they give you something to go on, like something concrete, and then like actually go on it. But like they would just sit there. Like if you sit back, you just give them all the space. You give them like all the time in the world, basically, to do what they want. And if everyone's scared to make a move, like you know how it is when teams are scared to make a move. It always just ends badly.
Yeah. Completely agree. But they did, they made it count, and they did actually win 4-3. It felt like they had the more dominant middles, really, from my point of view, and that's kind of what actually set them apart from LG. I think, what did we predict the I-46 beforehand? I'm pretty sure that I said something like Epsilon infused LG, so I was completely off the mark. No points for me.
I think I went Epsilon Mix Up TCM.
Yeah,
So again,
well off the
big
mark.
fat zero.
Jason, what did you predict? Do you remember?
I predicted infused TCM and nitros. No, I've no fucking idea. I probably picked Epsilon just to be like, yeah, we can do it. When I probably actually knew that we probably wouldn't do it. But I mean, couldn't say that.
Of course. So yeah, congratulations to Mix Up, of course, winning I-46. Let's talk about some of the more unusual stuff that went on at LAN. Xavi knows more about most of these things than me, so do you want to talk about them first, Xavi, and introduce everything?
I'll try and do it chronologically, more or less. The first night, the Thursday, everyone got there. Everyone's hanging out by the sofas by the bar. Everyone's having a nice time. Then Zebasai and like the Finns from TCM arrive. They all get a drink. Zebasai's recently turned 18. Kind of looked like it was the first time he'd ever had alcohol. 3 pints in, really rough. And I go off for a bit, go to the PCs, hang out with some people. I come back, and all I see is like X-Man having a quiet word with Zebasai, just like basically cutting him off and being like, no more drinking for you for the event. And
For the whole event?
I'm not sure if it was the whole event, but
It wasn't like no more drinking. It was just like, yo, like you clearly aren't, up to keeping up with people like that and whatever. So just don't try to. Just be sensible, kind of thing. He wasn't like a reprimand or anything. It was just like, yo, you got to be aware of why you're here and shit like that. Yeah, and your limits. Like, I couldn't get a fucking word out of Zebasai when he first showed up. I had to like practically stick my hand in his mouth and pull out his tongue to get a word out of him. I was like, hey Zebasai, how you doing? He's like, hey. How's your trip, man? Hey. And I come back 5 minutes later, and he's had like 3 pints or whatever. Dan's like force fed him basically, and he can't shut the guy up.
Speaking of which, I heard you didn't speak to Himsy at all weekend or something like that. You had to. What happened?
Huh?
You told me you hadn't spoken to Himsy, or you had to go and speak to him every time.
I spoke to Himsy, but like I was really gobsmacked. Like on the Sunday, at some point, he actually walked up to me and said something. And I was like, "Wow!" Getting like conversation with him as well as an English person, getting conversation with him is like getting blood from a stone. Like it's kind of like Zebasai before he gets drunk. But yeah, that's just how Himsy is. He's a quiet character, especially in English.
Okay. Do you want to talk about the next story? Kind of mentioned
I actually remembered something else. Wow, I was thinking of this. Me and Kay just were here for this, and it is pretty funny, right? Okay, basically, if you don't know, Hat and the Sucker are really good friends. Like they're like best friends, and this land is the first time they meet, like in real life. So it'd be really nice for everyone, and a really nice meeting place. Me and Kay just walked over, met the Sucker, like, how are you doing? Hat arrives. Obviously, doesn't recognize him because you don't recognize people from online if you haven't seen him. He goes, "You all right, Ips?" And me and Gator start laughing, thinking, "Oh, good one, Hat." And then we realise Hat literally has no idea it's Vasaka. He actually thinks it's Ips, and Vasaka's just kind of standing there awkwardly. And then Hat realises why me and Gator have like burst out laughing. He's like, "Oh my god, I didn't realise. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." Like gives him a hug and makes it up, but it was so awkwardly funny.
I was like, just looking at Hat like, ah, man, are you serious? You can't be serious, man. They don't even look that similar. Like they're just like both like not very tall and blonde with like short hair. It's like
yeah, and I suppose they have it spiked up the same, but they don't actually look similar. They just have like a few similar characteristics. But it was so bad, and the sucker didn't know what to do. Like you couldn't tell if Hat was joking and just really committing to the joke for like a minute or so. It was so bad. The next thing, I think, is the thing that's probably most famous from this LAN is Admiral and Matsy V making out on the Critscast camera.
something I could do without seeing again.
Wait, did you not see it?
I didn't see it. I don't think I want to.
Lucky for you, it's on YouTube. Hooray!
Do I really want to see this? I don't think so. I think I'll leave.
Otherwise,
I'll leave it.
otherwise you won't know what we're talking about, and you won't have anything to contribute to the show. I hope someone has a link prepared because, like, that's the kind of thing everyone's been waiting for.
This is where we rely on the IRC chat.
Yeah, no one in the.
There we go. Yes,
random Irish lad. Thank you very much. Here we go.
Irish lad, what a fitting name.
I think Curtis actually gave the timestamp as well. Yeah, Curtis gave the timestamp, so go for his, man.
There's an opening kiss, then a little bit later on, they come back for more, which is maybe the weirdest thing. The next thing, I think, chronologically, I think it was Bite ditching everyone at the hotel, which is Cadus's story, so take it away.
I don't really know exactly like why this happened. Like, I like to think it was because Bite was mad that we didn't do very well, so he just was like bitter. Everyone was like, "Fuck them, I'm disowning them." But basically, on the Saturday night, everyone went back to the hotel apart from me, like everyone from TCM, that is. So I went to Bite and I said, "Yo, I'm probably not going to make it back to the hotel tonight because I was like supposed to be driving myself there, and that wasn't really going to happen." And I said, if I do somehow make it back to the hotel, I'm not going to have my car. So it's like, I made it like categorically plain to him that it was his job. Like, it was his responsibility to get the Finns and Zebasai back to the LAN. Like, because we've been kind of like, alternating who takes them. I was like, Bite, it's on you. You got to do it. So Bite wakes me up about 12. He says, I'm going. Here's the key so you can check out, blah, 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 blah. So after that, I get up, I get in my car, and I get about 10 minutes like toward LAN. It's like a 15-minute drive, and I get Rebellion on the phone saying, "Yo, can you come get us or buy us a cab? Bite's just kind of fucking left us here." So I'm just like, what? Like, I'm just like, what the fuck? I don't really know why he did it. Like, I don't think he forgot. Like, it's not really the kind of thing you forget that you have like 5 fucking people, like 4 people to drive, like 4 foreigners that really desperately kind of need your help. So I don't really know what was up with that, but fuck knows, man. What a dick, basically. Like, it's just like a really cuntish move. Like, I mean, I don't see how it could have been for like sincere reasons, like he forgot or like thought I had it covered, because I was like, Bite, you need to drive them. Like, I couldn't have been clearer.
Especially like on the drive there, like when he's going to be sitting there in his car by himself for about 20 minutes and be like, something doesn't feel right. What am I forgetting? I don't know. The next thing, I think, this is mainly my story. Basically, on the Saturday night after games, I ended up getting really drunk with Harblue, and Gibbs was sleeping on my floor of my hotel room for free, because I'm a good teammate and whatever. Take that, Droso. And basically, Gibbs came to me and was like, "Oh, I want to go back now." I was like, "I'm not gonna be back for a while. Take my key, just pick up when I call you. Pretty simple." me and Harblue keep getting drunk, get a bit high, with like Woody and Gent were there, I think. Harblue had some vodka, so it got a little bit messy. And then basically, we get back to the hotel at about 7 a.m. I call Gibbs about 8 times, no answer. I knock on the door, nothing. Knock on the door again, nothing. So Hub was like, fuck it, you can sleep on my floor. So I was like, brilliant, this is what I want to pay £22 for Gibbs to sleep on my floor and me sleep on someone else's. That's worth the money. So we go over to like the floor above, which is where they're staying. Harblue goes to open the door. The key's not turning, so he's like trying to push the door, trying to force everything, and it's jammed. Then who opens the door in their boxers and t-shirt, looking so mad? Like, I've never seen someone so angry without saying anything. Was Sizer just standing there, really pissed off? He didn't even say anything. He just gave us like a look of disgust and then shut the door. I was like, Harblue, I told you this wasn't your room. I didn't think you were quite right. Then I had to go and spend the night on Harblue's floor and pay £22 for the room.
Isn't it like there was no one even sleeping in your bed? Gibbs was on the floor
Yeah,
and then did the
on the
fucking
floor of my
empty
room.
room.
It's an empty bed that I paid for. This was also like, we got back 7 a.m. and then Harblue was woken up, I think, 4.5 hours later by mix up being like, Harb, you need to get up. And Harblue was like, what? Like, Harb, we gotta go practice.
Wow.
Which may have been like part of the reason why he killed himself twice.
Yeah, I was about to say, is it the reason he shot the floor? Is it you, Zabby? Is that what went wrong?
I talked to him like just before. He was like an hour before the finals, and he was like, my DM seems okay, but I have no idea what decision I'm making. So see how it goes in the final. I was like, oh god, Mix-Up are going to come at me like, it's your fault we lost. Your soldier was basically useless. Because I was like, yeah, but it sort of worked out.
Okay.
For them, no worries.
Cool. So, are there any other stories that people have forgotten? Maybe we should discuss Darn's story and the Gonzo story. Maybe we should discuss those two. The Darn story.
One more before we go, yeah. Basically, a big shout out to TZC, which is like Coleman, Matt, Sonics, and Dan Anderson for carrying the drinking. Because I don't know, it was a pretty sober event by iSeries standards, and they carried it, which led to Matt and Coleman chatting up every girl they could see, and that landed on a lot of girls. So it was like the infused CSS team. Yeah, even when one of the girls called Abby, her boyfriend was there. That didn't slow down Matt at all. Matt was still going for it, proper keen, no fear. As her boyfriend just stood there awkwardly silent.
And then it was like, is weird, man.
And then there was another bit, like one of the like Telford's like room people just like sitting in the corner of the halls, just watching everything, making sure everything's okay, never any like problems. And me, Matt, Dan, and Coleman just sat around her for like an hour talking to her, which she might have had a good time. She also probably did not have a great time.
How drunk were you guys at this point? Let's work out how much of an uncomfortable time she would have had.
This was at the end of the night after everyone had left, and then Coleman was like, I've still got half a bottle of vodka. So just as we were finishing off that vodka, yeah, so it
I didn't hear any of this story, but all I heard was Commander X talking to a female, so I know it's tragic.
It wasn't that bad from my point of view, but I was pretty drunk, so it's probably awful.
Yeah.
Tell me the story.
Yeah, so Don's story is basically he got given all the Infused guys got given pretty shitty PCs from what I've heard. They're the 60Hz monitors, which are all decent, but the PCs were shit. And during his game against Punchline, he was full on like raging in the game because he kept getting headshot by Flippy, and then he missed like a really, really simple air shot. So he like bangs his hand on his PC and literally disconnected his hard drive from his motherboard by hitting his PC, and the game had to be like paused for like 45 minutes because of this problem. Like, oh dear, he full on raged at that. And then also he had like a massive rage at Vank saying all the sponsors were shit and stuff like that for Infused. So even if that team had stayed together, I doubt they would have been in Infused any longer. So yeah.
I don't see why that would have mattered, since like they basically had to pay their own way anyway.
Did they? I heard they got given everything. I don't know.
Well, all I know is Cookie had to buy his own flight because it was like a week and a half before the event. They couldn't get in contact with Vank, and Cookie didn't have a flight, so he's like, right, I'd rather fucking just make sure I'm going rather than trust this like useless cunt. The same like same story for
Same
Hat.
for Hat.
With his train ticket, obviously not as expensive, but Hat is living
Didn't have any money
in
at the
Liverpool,
time.
way below the poverty line. He had to like borrow money from his sister or something in the end, like to get his train. Like the guy Van, is that his name? I don't really remember.
Yeah.
Like
that-
him comes online literally like Wednesday, and Hat's leaving on a Thursday, and Hat's like, "Yo, how about that train ticket then?" And he's like, "Nah, it's too late. Should have asked sooner." And
Yeah,
he's been
with,
trying to
like-
contact him for like 2 weeks.
with Vank, you have to like organize everything like 2 months in advance. Because at least if you organize it 2 months in advance, when it goes wrong, it's his fault. Like that's what I got used to dealing with. That's pretty much all the stories. In fact, I want to talk about the Gonzo one. Like a few people might have read about it somewhere, but basically, Gonzo, Dr. Gonzo is the or Richard Lewis, as he's now known as, is the editor in chief at Cadred, Heaven Media employee, and he was at the event doing media in the media room, being fucking loud and drunk, obnoxious, and the like COD 6 guys that were like casting COD. So he was being really loud and being on the COD like on the actual cast. They went over to him and told him to shut up. And apparently he got really, really leery at them and threatened to go, like, told them to come outside and have a fight and shit. Apparently they were doing the same to him, but like multiplayer got involved. And yeah, needless to say, Richard got banned from every multiplayer event, got kicked out and banned from every multiplayer event. As the canon, yeah, he's brilliant. Someone's PMing me saying on his way out he stole a graphics card from someone's PC apparently, as well. So yeah,
What a guy.
I have a feeling he'll still be back at the next lands. You know, they say he's banned from all of them, but being part of Heaven Media, I'm pretty sure he'll be allowed back into the next ones. But I think that's fucking funny. Really, really is. I've been to a LAN before. 34. Maybe it was it was I-34. And we rented this house at Leamington, and Richard and this guy called Dan, he used to play Source with, had like Richard was having a go at this guy called Dan. So Dan fucking pulls a knife on him, and they both go outside and have like a knife fight. And then like Richard somehow managed to tackle Dan through a fucking wall, right? Through the like a fence or whatever. And then they fell like 8 foot onto the floor, like with Richard on top of Dan. And then they just walked off. They were like, "Oh, that's fine. That's it. Good job." And then they just walked off and didn't see each other again for the rest of the LAN. Like, yeah. There have been some weird ass LAN stories with Rick.
What?
Yeah, that's a true story.
I almost want to react, but I can't quite comprehend all the ridiculous things that happened in that story. Like,
Yeah.
what?
That's how fucking men handle it, apparently. It's like, wow, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, that was quite fucking funny and horrible at the same time. But yeah, that was a long time ago. Rich is a good lad, but he goes a little bit unstable, I think, sometimes. Let us move on past LAN then. I think we talked about every story. Let's talk post LAN. We're going to talk all the folds first of all. So
Everyone folded. You like a team? They're gone. Get over it.
imagine Prem from last season, right? And if you pick a team in there, they'll have folded. You know, if you just lucky roulette, boom. The only one that I think that hasn't is Punchline. Is that right?
Punchline is still together.
Crackland kind of.
Crackland's a new team though. It's not the same. So I think
it's kind of the same.
Maybe. So basically, most of these teams are reforming, but as Epsilon have folded, TCM folded, and Fuse folded, and Quarantine have folded. Epsilon are reforming a new team under Stefan and Nox. Those are the two players from the old team staying
Did you say
there.
Punchline folded?
No, Punchline aren't and Vertex staying together.
They're staying together.
I heard they were folding.
Really?
Tech told me last night they're staying together and was like surprised when I asked if they were folding. Tech was
I heard
surprised.
they were folding.
It's gonna be some
Like
news to
today?
Tech.
Well, Tech is obviously
really?
the problem.
Well,
been
why
a
don't you
double.
PM some of the Punchline guys while I talk about the new Epsilon then. Let's talk about new Epsilon and leave Punchline for a little bit later.
I don't care about Punchline anyway. It doesn't really matter.
So basically, Epsilon are doing what they did last year, picking everybody they want to play on their team. As pretty much every team has folded, they have an open bar.
Everyone to choose from.
They can pick everybody. So basically, you're going to see the best players in every position playing at this new Epsilon, and they're going to demolish everybody. That's what I think is going to happen. So as for their players now, they've got Nox on medic and Stefan on scout. Their two former players are going to be playing there. I've been told. This is what I got told yesterday. As for their players, their soldiers they were picking from were Might, Hat, and Zebasai. And then scouts, the extra two scouts extra was either Cookie, Waters, or Bevan. Demo Man is pretty much going to be numlocked. I've heard rumors of like a German lineup, but I don't think that's happening anymore. So I'm pretty
No,
sure.
the German thing was like a pre-LAN idea, but I don't think Slick was. It wasn't really possible. I don't think Slick really wanted to do that.
Okay, well I've been told what the actual lineup is. Okay,
There is
Uh,
no actual lineup yet, really, though.
They're trialing people, aren't they? Like
Yeah,
all
they're
of those
trialing
players
lots of
that are on
different people.
trial.
Like, yeah, I don't think Walters has anything to do with it either, really.
okay.
I think he's out.
Yeah, well basically what I've heard from Noctis' mouth, but through someone else, is they're playing with Stefan, Cookie, Mike, Zebasai, Numlocked, and Nox. But obviously that depends where some of these players go. With all these new teams popping up, they might
What scout?
not. Cookie.
Okay.
That's what I've heard from Nox's mouth. So that's probably what I think wants it to be. Whether these players will actually go there, like Zebasai and Cookie, go there, we'll have to wait and see. The
You
other
read it
team.
there. You read that's my boy. You read my boy. That's my boy.
What?
Cookie said I won't be FC.
Yeah, this is really leads on to the next bit of major gossip, which is Darn's new team, which is this is again like nothing's confirmed. Cadus on Demo Man, Darn and Zebasai Soldier, Bibbin and Cookie Scouts, and Evil Moon on Medic.
That's a strong roster as well. Are they all like definite players? Are they only trialing 6, and then if players back out, they'll then get someone else, or have they got an more open bracket? I've heard a lot of scouts being thrown around everywhere. Like every team, when they mention scouts, has like 4 that they're looking at. So, Cadus, do you know more about this team? Obviously, you've been like we've got your name under this, and you've probably been playing them for the past 2 days. So,
Well,
hit me.
I played with them just today, and it was Zebasai, Dan, Cookie, Bibbin, and Evil Moon. I think Zebasai will probably be in 2 minds, like Epsilon or this team. But like Cookie just said, he ain't going to EPSI, so hopefully that means he's going there. Like, I don't know. I haven't been told like what definitely is happening, but I think what played today is what Dan would like to happen.
Okay. I've just got a PM saying from Zebasai himself. He thinks that the other 5 are all confirmed for that Darn lineup, and
I
he-
didn't say I was doing it. I was like, you gotta impress me. That's what I said.
Words in your mouth.
I wasn't what I said. I was like, please take me. No one else wants me. I was gonna make a new team with Commander X and Gibbs, but I just
Land team, I-47, see you there.
bring it on. Bring it on. We'll smash you. Easy mode.
Zebasai, you know where you belong. Do the right thing.
So yes, that's at least 2 new teams gonna be forming. I've heard with this Darn thing that the name Dignitas has been thrown around a little bit. I
It's just hearsay.
personally wouldn't throw it around whatsoever. I'm pretty sure that's just people seeing Darn's name and going, Darn and Cookie have
Dan
been
and Bibbin.
all there's 3 of those players have been Dignitas. So and Darn was always the guy that was really close to Odie. So that's probably why a lot of people are throwing that name. But like, I'm pretty sure they're not joining them as it stands. Like, I know a few people in Dignitas, and they've not even spoken to them from what I've gathered. That's not to say they won't pick them up though. So we'll have to wait and see what goes on there. As for the other kind of reform that seems a bit weird, basically what happened to TCM is Byte wanted to go back to Demo Man, and people wanted to leave because of whining or something. So basically, the TCM reform is like Byte's going to be on Demo Man, and he's going to fill in slots around. As for what Zavi's written down here, which
I don't
is
know.
Xerox playing TF2 again, I don't know.
Skinny and Xerox are playing again. Byte's keen in demo. Maybe it's a coincidence, or maybe all these factors are pointing to a TCM reform.
Well, Coins and Haunter are still around as well. Maybe.
Yeah, and I don't
Anti-
like. I know they're with a team, and they want to like aim towards like top Div 1 Prem with Naughty Bad Men. But I don't know. They might jump ship for a chance to reform the old gang.
Yeah. And like Anti's around. I don't know whether he'll play while he's at uni, but he might do.
Maybe I can shed some light a little bit.
Is Anti here?
What?
I don't know what you just said.
I said maybe I can
Oh,
shed
right.
some light on the situation. Would you like
Yes.
that, Greg?
I would like that very much, Cadus. Thank you.
Is Greg lagging or am I lagging?
You're both lagging for me, but I might be lagging.
So in that case, probably Skyrise lagging. I'll just go anyway. Basically, if I come home from LAN and I join the TCM IRC and I see Skinny, Anti, and Xerox in there who haven't been in there for ages, at first I think, like, whoa, what the fuck's going on here? But then actually it turns out that Byte basically just took the password off so that old auto join is activated. So I don't think Anti has anything to do with it. I think it's literally just the IRC letting him back in because Byte took the password off.
Okay.
But Skinny has like been actively talking on that channel and playing pickups and all that kind of sort of thing, like asking for DM server IP. So I don't really know what's going on there. I mean, I seem to recall like way back when like those all people all left the last TCM, they basically said were sick of playing with Byte. So I don't really know like how it's going to go down. But if there is another TCM, like it's definitely Byte on demo. I mean, Byte kind of said that he suggested to X-Man that he just leave and the other people from TCM can just get a new medic. But I don't know. He says X-Man didn't want to go for it, but not sure if I fully believe Byte proposed it, to be honest. But yeah, either way, I don't think Byte's really taken any steps toward it yet. If he does do it, I think it's going to have to be either old players or like he did with the Penna and Flisco team, like take the Div 1
Up
players.
and comers, yeah.
Because like I don't really know, like no one's going to pick that team basically over the like of all the like the quality like Class A players. No one's like there's just enough of them to fill like these two teams with Dan and Epsilon. So I don't really see any of them picking to play with Byte over those two. So he's gonna have to
take
get
like a B list, yeah.
yeah, he's gonna have to like, but he can't just take like a second-rate players, if you know what I mean, because it's just not going to be strong enough, and Byte obviously ain't in it to come third again. It's nice to be able to use that joke and not be associated with it. It's nice, but yeah. So he's gonna have to be old players. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe you saw Skinny and Xerox, but I don't think Xerox would do it because he was around for this like the TCM that I was in, and then he basically didn't have the time to commit to it, and I don't see why that would have changed because it wasn't like a temporary thing as far as I'm aware, and he wasn't good enough. Like I hope he doesn't take Xerox because he wasn't good enough, and he's got to be prepared to put time in to get good enough again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Might we see Quad back in any of these lineups, do you reckon?
I don't know about Quad. I mean, he was in that old TCM team for a little bit,
Yeah.
but then I don't think he left because of Byte so much. So maybe, but I don't know.
Wasn't it
like-
because of wasn't it a LAN thing with like Quad couldn't attend LAN
Yeah.
and TCM wanted to win
Yeah.
LAN, so Quad kind of like became eligible for that team. So
Sure, but if Quad's available, I reckon like he could probably go to Epsilon or something like that.
Oh, Quad made a new team apparently.
yeah, I
with
think
Gubbins.
it's further down the list. We'll get there.
Oh,
I
is
was
it?
told
Oh.
I was told by someone that like Quad would consider going to a top team though or something like that. I don't know if it's true or not.
I think it would depend a lot on other players being in place as well. Like he wouldn't just commit straight away. It needs to be like he'd let other people commit first, then he'd be like the bonus if there's an established good roster.
Yeah, I see what you mean. So there's like they'll get 5 together. They're looking for a final scout, and they'll be like, "Who the hell can we get? Oh, let's get Quad," sort of thing. Okay. I think have we covered everything we want to talk about for those like top 3 sort of teams?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh.
That's for like that's for major Prem gossip. Everything else is around that sort of Div 1 low Prem level.
Yeah. So the main person that's appeared in a few of these lineups is Zebasai and Cookie. Cookie's now committed that he's not playing in the new Epsilon, so that kind of to me means that he's going to be playing in this new Dawn team. And then Zebasai obviously is still yet to make his decision. And then Epsilon is still deciding on Mike and Hat. I think that's pretty much what's going down at the moment. As for the scout with
rule out-
Stefan, I think it's going to be Beaven even. What, sorry?
Don't forget as well, like they could take Mike and Hat. Like Hat can play both,
Yeah.
and Mike can play both. Like, and then that would free up Zebasai. That would be the best choice for TF2. Everyone, if Zebasai joined the other team, and then maybe Mike and Hat on that team.
Okay, I've just heard that because Cookie isn't playing for Epsilon, I probably won't be either, is what Zebasai said. So there you go. Zebasai wants to go where Cookie
Ooh.
goes. So we'll see.
Fanboy.
Right, let's talk about the next teams anyway. Let's talk about which one's more important. Let's do the Monster Munch first, okay?
Wow, so
I
humble,
was so-
Greg.
I was so close to doing the other
humble.
one first. Right, so basically, the next two teams are both kind of reforms. The first one is the Monster Munch reform, which on the cards, these are the players that we're looking to use, which is pretty much the team that they had when they folded. In fact, it is the team they had when they folded. So it's Arx and Vlad Drak on Scout, Gent and Hardblue on Soldier, Josky on Demoman, and Sue the French medic, playing medic, obviously.
Where did this come from?
They've like pieced them together before. Sue, Josky have all been playing again, and I talked to Harblu and Jane quite a bit of LAN, and from what they said, they were both really interested. Harblu has like said he can commit to 3 days a week, which is plenty, really compared to normal European play times. Like 3 days a week is enough, and everyone else seems interested, and everyone else likes the idea as long as everyone can obviously actually commit to being there and playing. Because they all really enjoyed playing together. The reason they folded before, I think, was more just a time constraint issue. Like, no one had the time to play anymore.
Yeah. Well, Josky quit, didn't he? That's what happened. Josky quit TF2, so that's why they folded. As for the team, I don't know how long-term commitment this is. I don't know when it's going to happen. I'm pretty sure I heard about this about a month ago. So it's probably been on the cards for a while. And they're just slowly getting it. They're probably gonna, as you said, play once or twice every 2 weeks or something, and then
it feels like everyone is happy to do it, but no one quite knows if they personally have the time to commit. And obviously, they don't want to commit and then screw like 5 of their friends over by suddenly going, "Oh wait, sorry, I can only play 1 day a week" or something.
Yeah. So obviously, they probably enter the next season. Wouldn't you thought? Wouldn't they enter and just play officials if that's what it came down to? Maybe not. Maybe they'd wait till the commitment. So we might not see the Monster Munch in the next season of ETF2L. Have to wait and see, I guess. Do you guys want to mention that team at all? What else? Do you want to say anything more about that team? Where do you reckon they would be? Or should we mention that a bit later when we're doing the who's going to be in Prem?
Let's leave it till later. We'll cover it all in one swoop.
Yeah. So the other team that is reforming is the team that kind of got reformed at LAN, which is my former team and my team now. The old Infused lineup, like ages ago, the Push to Play lineup. That team,
the original
team that beat Team Thermotake at LAN. Hi, Jason.
Still riding that old chestnut, Greg.
Yeah,
that's kind of sad.
You're never letting that one go,
Greg,
mate.
is that your last major victory, Greg?
Yeah, that right, isn't it? Hey, I won Demoman. I won a Demoman, didn't I? I-45, isn't that major victory?
Fairly sure that you didn't play Demoman in the final, did you?
I-45, yeah.
You did.
In the final, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Word.
So that's the lineup, of course, from back then was myself, MVC on Scouts, Plumbed and Boomy on Soldiers, Ben's Crazy Medic, and Sonics on Demoman. We're gonna be playing pretty much whenever we can, and be entering the next season. We did put ourselves in for Prem, but we don't get it, we don't care. So, yeah, that'll be good fun playing with that. Ziggy, we don't know what's going on, whether he actually wants to commit or not, because obviously he has other commitments with Shootmania. So we've got Foster as backup at the moment on our roster as well, and that's pretty much the rundown. We've had pretty decent results so far. That's about it, I guess.
Lots of water bottles tonight, just saying.
Yeah, playing with Stevie JJ on Medic. Oh my god. And we have fight like Neverman. Oh god. Yeah. Do you guys want to talk about that lineup at all, or does it not really matter?
What, the one with you on it?
Yeah.
Nah.
Thanks. Right. The other lineups I've got written down here. Zavi, you can do it. I'm gonna sit here.
You want me to sort of okay, right. I'll start with let's go complete new teams. There's Skeege's team, which looks to be Skeege on Medic, obviously, Luzu and Old Grandma on Soldier, but perhaps Mighty Me on Soldier. Then maybe Brego or Mighty Me on Demoman, and then Septique, Quitchy, and Revel on Scout. Quitchy,
3 scouts. That's going to be sick. That would be the best roster ever.
This is quite funny. Quitchy told me he couldn't merc for us tonight, or play for us tonight because he was merking. Then he PMs me, "Yo, you guys still need a merc? I got dropped for Reverall."
Raped.
Which is it's pretty funny. I don't know, because I feel like, I don't know, Revel's not that strong at all, and at least Koichi hits stuff. The next roster is for one Quad's new team. I think they're called Chinese Mafia at the moment, which is Quad and Gubbins on Scout, Radiator and Evoke Soldier. And it's just more of a guess than anything, but I presume like Fade would be on Medic just because he's the sort of player, like same sort of crowd. They could rope him back into returning to TF2, you know? So I wouldn't be surprised if we see his name pop up with that roster.
It's fair enough.
Any
Cool,
opinions
cool,
on
cool.
these teams?
Yeah, sound right. Kind of the same stuff you saw 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, it's that
Uh,
like Radiator Quad sort of Gubbins team is the same pretty much as Exotic Islands. Is that what they were called? Exotic Island Esports or something like that? I don't know what it was, but it's pretty much the same sort of lineup. I guess once they get into it, they'll probably be pretty decent.
Quad will
Um,
carry them to
yeah.
Quad's the star man. Like Quad's kind of like a level above everyone else in that team. But yeah,
Which was the other team you talked about? Skeeter's
yeah,
team.
Skeeter's team. Yeah,
Yeah, like Koichi is a far better scout than Reveril. Like, maybe it's a little bit more annoying, but other than that, like he's a sort of joker on a mumble, and if you don't want a joker on your mumble, then I guess you know you don't want him on your team. But personally, he's a much better scout and much like lightens the mumble atmosphere loads and makes it easier to play. That's what I would say. As for the rest of their players, they're stealing Septique off you as well, are they, Zabby?
sorry.
Well, they're stealing Septique off you as well.
Yeah, I talked to Septique, and Septique said they have a good thing going there, which will be interesting to see with Skeej, really, because I swear the last couple of teams he's been on eventually were like, we don't want to play with Skeej anymore. So,
Well,
I don't know. Maybe it's changed.
They've got Luzo and Brago, who are both really defensive and like to listen to what someone's saying.
Tell me about
So
it.
So if Skeej is telling them what to do when they've got health, because he's going to know who's going to have health, then they might be pretty decent. And if their scouts are just listening for the key information from Skeej, then it will work. But it's just whether people will get a bit annoyed about how Skeej plays stuff and decisions he makes sometimes. But I have to wait and see, I guess.
I think
We'll see.
Koichi and Skeej is not really a pair I'd like to put together. Like Skeej likes to be quite, should we say bossy, and Koichi kind of
Doesn't really
you know,
listen. Koichi just sort
yeah.
of does his own thing. So like like when he used to play Roma for like Taimu's old team ages ago, like the old VYE lineup, it worked quite well because Koichi would make his own plays and an aggressive team can play off that. But if the rest of the team's playing quite slow and defensively, you might find Koichi just ends up going for hero plays constantly.
They're just
Yeah.
gonna argue, man. It's gonna be like, I don't know. It's just, don't know. There's like opposite personalities.
It doesn't seem like it would gel personality-wise, yeah. Shall we round up the rest of the gossip? It's just a few tidbits. Deserto need a demo man after War is rejoining his best buddies at Elemental to play Soldier instead of Silasin. I think that's the right name.
Yeah, Silas was
Who's
going to LAN or something, wasn't it? I think. Oh, no, not going to LAN.
Yeah,
Going to uni even. That was what I meant to say.
coming to land for the next 3 months, won't be able to play. No, yeah, I think he's got some other commitment. Greg,
Deserto just get a new soldier as well. Who have they got? Speng instead of Jackal?
They're trialing soldiers.
So they're trialing 2 new players. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, the Poop is so far the demo trialist, so that would be good for them. Obviously, Poop's got a little bit more experience, so
Yeah,
it should work out right for them.
He used to merc for them a fair bit. That's what he used to tell me, and he used to just go around wrecking shit and just enjoying it. That's his exact words, pretty much. So that'll probably just fall in pretty easily as long as they all just have a laugh with it. I think they fit pretty well in the Sasa lineup.
Yeah, and there's also Kyler is trialing for Naughty Badman, which would mean Stunts would move to backup, which obviously only strengthen their lineup. To be honest, like Stunts is okay, but Kyler's the next level.
Kyler, I personally feel that Kyler would do much better in a better. You know, that team is below Kyler. I'd say personally, that's basically what I was trying to say. I don't know that much about that team very much, but like, isn't Horns playing scout still? Like,
yes, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess Kyler can carry him, can't he? Kyler can carry everybody.
Put him on his back, yeah. I think that's it, really.
Can we
I think
talk nitros?
want to talk nitros?
I,
Oh
I,
yeah.
because Evil Moon's
What
leaving
I
them, so they
heard,
continue to medic. Go for it.
what I heard is Evil Moon was kicked for having a bad attitude or something. That's what I've heard. I don't know how much truth there is in that.
He's not been kicked, but like I think they were internally considering it.
Okay. And then he
Uh,
left of his own accord, sort of thing.
I don't think he's left yet. I think he's just. I don't think they're playing this week. I don't really know.
Okay. Well, from what I understand, isn't like Evil Moon pretty much guaranteed for Darn's lineup? Oh well.
Mayhaps, man.
I've PM'd Drozo to see if he'll tell me. So they're not trialing anybody at the moment. So there you go. They don't have no idea what they're going to do with their medic. And Evil Moon didn't leave, I'm being told. So there you go. As far as it stands, maybe they're just trialing. Oh, they're just playing with Evil Moon at the moment, looking for another medic. I guess.
We're being told it's not because Evil Moon says it's not because of that. So it's secretly just LAN chat.
Okay.
Yeah. All I was
Fair
saying
enough.
was what I heard from people in that team. So don't shoot the messenger, man.
Okay.
Putting it out in the open.
So should we predict Prem for next season then?
Yeah, I want to make a point before we go into it. Is I think Prem should be reduced to 6 teams to make it a bit more of an elite, because I feel there's closer to a top 6 than there is a top 8, and then that would in turn make Div 1 more competitive. I don't know what everyone else thinks about that.
To be honest with you, I probably wouldn't change it personally. Because
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
that's tiny, and it gives no other teams the chance to play. Like that's the whole point of having like it used to be 10, and 10 was fine. It was just a really it took forever the season. Like I think I'm quite happy with 8 personally. So I don't
I
know.
agree with Greg.
Screw you guys.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I'd still keep it 8. So should we go through then? Should we just put the people we guarantee to be in Prem out the way first? So, Punchline and Cracklan, obviously because they're still there. Epsilon, this new Darn team. Will TCM get a team together for this season? I doubt it. So there's 4 so far, right? 4 pretty much guarantees, and then Deserto got promoted, didn't they? So that's the promotion team. So that's 5. So there's 3 spots to fill. So
I'd give 1 to UV, like for your Russian team that's coming back. I say that would be pretty much uncontested, really.
I
What?
guess so. I don't know. I just no. I think from the admin's point of view, I think they're just going to do it, but I don't think it should be that
Why not?
because they haven't played for 6 months.
They
They're-
played. It was the exact same team that played in Team Russia. It's player for player, the exact same team.
They've only played like 3 weeks or something, 4 weeks. Like they haven't been getting.
Well,
brilliant
that's
results.
more than any other new team has played so far, isn't it?
I guess.
Like, we're not picking like no. There's no standout candidate. We're having to pick in the best from a lot of new teams and not as good teams as like the rest of Prem.
What do you
Let them
think?
play
Jez?
for it.
Do you think?
Make them play for it.
You're just all the
last
bottom
team.
3, the last 3
Playoff.
spots.
Just
Massive
the last
playoff.
team should be a playoff. I think there's like 7 that you could put in there.
Go
And
on,
then
list the 7 because I only got to 5.
Oh god, I can't even remember. Command Rex gave me a list. It made sense at the time, man.
The list had UV on it, man.
Yeah, UV's fine. They won Div 1, they
Alright.
took a break. Put them in there, man. Give them their chance if they want it. They earned it.
I guess. Don't know.
Yeah,
I
the
guess.
only one you
Like, they never
contested in that-
folded. Like, they just sat out a season because of exams.
They had like uni commitments,
Yeah.
so they all had, because they're all from Russia and they're all the same age group. They all had the same commitments at the same time, so they just took a break.
That's fair enough. Alright, give them
They
a
were
shot,
sick. Like,
I
they were going to be like, they weren't just going to be like some bottom Prem team scrubbing it up. They were going to be like, mid Prem, like looking to push. Like, if they could get some upsets.
Punchline level, yeah.
Yeah.
guess. Yeah. Alright.
Like, they were capable of the same stuff if they just had like that season.
And then Commander X has put Twisted Play on
I
this
put
as well.
Twisted
Oh, that's
Play.
bullshit. That's just nonsense.
So
Like, I
who
mean-
would be the final 2? There's 2 more spots in Prem then, excluding
Okay,
the.
then maybe like the last 2 spots should be playoffs because the PCW screenshot thing is just fucking pointless. Doesn't
Nothing.
tell you anything
Yeah.
unless it's like gapingly
Consistent.
obvious. Like there's a team that's 5 over every other team like 50 times or something. like it's really not like a good method of deciding. Like you should either kind of ask the Prem teams and make it like just invite or whatever, or they should just play. The best thing is they just play for it.
Yeah. Well, personally, I don't think we should get it. I don't know what are the other teams that can possibly get it anyway. Should we
Well,
think?
the contenders,
Yeah, the contenders for
I
those
guess
bottom two spots.
Nitros would have to be a name thrown in. I know they've applied for Prem. I believe Naughty Badmen might have applied for Prem, but they blow.
I think I would have
Um,
just put Nitrous in there, really.
Nitros definitely does have to be in there.
Yeah, I would just put
do.
them
After
in
LAN,
the
everything.
7th spot.
I actually, this might be drunk memories, but I remember Hiss might have told me something like, apparently if they get top 8 at LAN, they can be Prem or something like that.
Well, they
Something
should
like
be.
that.
Like it's like
Yeah.
fairly obvious that they're,
Yeah.
you know, they're a proven
And they're
team.
solid. They're solid
Like-
and like, it's always talked about stability when you talk about Prem teams as well. And that team's shown stability.
Yeah, like I don't really think they're great. I mean, they do continue to kind of perform well. I mean, it doesn't really make much sense to me. Like the way they play is really strange, but it just seems to work for them.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me, they would just go in. They wouldn't even. They shouldn't have to like fight for really. I would just put them in like 7th seed.
I agree.
Okay, so
I'd-
that leaves one spot in Prem.
Mm. So one spot. So what other teams do we have then?
Who would be
His
contenders
Tarkus'
then?
team would be a contender.
Twisted Play, I guess, would be a contender. I guess you'd want to compete for that.
Yeah.
I'd throw Autobots in. We'd compete for that if we were all going to do a stupid playoff.
Fuck my dick.
Skeege's team, Tarkus's
Yeah,
team.
Skeege's team, Tarkus' team.
That makes 4 teams.
So maybe
That
some of there's like maybe some Div 1 teams from last season. I don't know.
I
What's
guess
left?
Elemental Violence are kind of around that level. At sort of Div 1 level. Naughty Badmen.
I don't know about Naughty Badman. It's really weird because it's all these
I think they've
players that I
applied for-
haven't really seen play properly.
I just remember like playing against like the Portuguese team and just some of their players being so bad in the past couple of weeks as we've been warming up for LAN. That's about it.
Yeah, Chinese Mafia probably gets a shout just because with Quad, like he can literally carry them.
Yeah.
Puts them on their back, yeah.
And, like it's not like a bad team. There's like only one standout player, but he's standing out like around like a half decent framework. So you know what I mean?
Yeah. When you look at what he does for Denmark. So
Yeah.
He can put like a team of like not so great, well, like Div 1 players, he can put them on that low Prem level.
yeah, I don't know who we put. I guess the playoffs the best way to do it. Does everyone want to pick a team out of that bundle that they think should get it, or should we just leave it open?
There really is no clear contender out of
No.
that list of teams. It all.
I'm gonna say Tarkus' team.
I can't.
Man. It's
I can't
it's
pick
not it's
one.
not bad. It's really actually not bad. It's probably like the strongest roster I think. Like the most balanced roster. Like I think I can't even remember what fucking teams you suggested now. But it's like the latest like update is that it's Kryptonite, Fuo, Zappis, Erectus, Calho, and Tarkus. Like with Fuo
All right,
on demo
yeah,
and
that
Erectus on
was-
Scout. Like Erectus did pretty good in the Nations Cup, and Zappis is still actually very good. And then you have like Kryptonite and Fuo, obviously.
Fuo just gets stuff done as well, like when Fuo has a good day.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. I'd give
not
it
sure how
that
it's
team.
going to work, like personality-wise, how it's going to kind of gel or whatever. It might go completely tits up. Like I wouldn't give them an automatic spot just because, you know, they're the kind of team that
It could fall
might be
apart.
unstable. It could just crumble.
Tarkus
But
is
as far
kind
as like, yeah, if we're going to go on strength of roster, then they'd probably be my favorites. But they don't deserve it just to get it because they might fold. They should have to work for it.
I don't
So
think any of the
basically-
teams that are looking for the spot are stable whatsoever.
Yeah, it's a fair point.
Yeah, like I don't know, you'd have the playoff is the fairest way, I guess, because there's no one, like we said, there's no one who stands out. So, well, at least might as well get some entertainment out of it.
Thing is,
there's
if there was
time
actually going
for
to be
the
playoff, they would have. Well, there's time, but they just have to get on it like now and not shit about. If you know what I mean. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like another team is just going to come out of nowhere and apply for playoffs like before. Sorry, apply for Prem before, or have a justified application for Prem before the sign-ups close. Like in Xavi's list of like the 7, is TCM in that list?
Maybe Monster Munch,
no,
but that looks
TCM's
really
not.
unlikely as well. Yeah,
TCM's
TCM,
not
I'm
on this.
pretty sure TCM have said they wouldn't enter season 13.
They
Or
have
Byte
said.
has at least. Byte has said.
Fair enough. But yeah, then in that case, there's no other teams. I don't really see another team coming out of nowhere and being a candidate. So they should just get. If it was me, like I would just get on with it now, make it happen. Like announce
Wouldn't take
playoffs and
all.
like
Yeah.
yeah, because there's always that week like where the sign-ups end and then there's uh like
Hmm.
the season starts like a week later. Like you could so easily do it in that time, just like one map rounds or whatever, then a best of three final or whatever it takes. Like in
Yeah.
one night, you could do it basically in one night. Maybe have the grand final on another night. But yeah, I think it's more than doable, and it's like
Yeah.
it's the best solution because you can't
I don't
pick
think. Yeah.
you can't
There's
pick
no.
between those teams. You can't do it.
And
It'd be
like,
cool to have that, to be honest. It'd be really cool.
I don't think any of the teams would like. No one's got any more evidence. Like, even if people don't have, no one has enough screenshots or whatever to back up enough of an
It
argument.
doesn't matter what screenshots
Yeah.
you have. PCWs don't mean shit. Like, I mean, maybe PCWs will mean shit for these teams because they'll be like try harding because they know the screenshots count. But like, the only thing that's actually going to count is if they PCW against each other. But if they're going to fucking PCW against each other, like with their lives depending on it, why not just have them play a playoff game? You know?
I don't think any of the teams would dispute that either. Like argue against a playoff.
Yeah. Because I mean, there's like 5 of them, and 4 of them are going to feel like they're getting screwed if they don't get it, and they are getting screwed basically because there's no candidate that sticks out above the other.
I guess. Whatever.
Yeah.
I
So we seem
think I think
settled.
that's the best thing. Who's going to talk to Camfo then? Someone volunteer, so I don't have to. Thanks.
It'll be
like
nice to
Dave's
see
just-
because it'd be nice to see because that news post today is the best fucking ETF news post I've ever seen.
Yeah, I wanted to mention that. Yeah, it was really
like yeah.
everything's really good. Like everything
Literally
about it
is.
is really good.
I haven't read it yet.
You haven't read it, it's really good.
Okay.
Xavier, why don't you summarize it for Greg? Because it is like we can't not talk about it. It's
Okay,
literally the best
right, yeah.
ETF news post I've ever fucking seen.
Prize money, €1,500 first, 750 runner up, 252 for third place. Odd
There's a
number,
precise number.
Whatever. Someone's clearly missed 0 and pressed 2. I don't know.
That's
There's
as
a
well
new
as the
player
hardware,
guide.
not instead of, by the way.
Yeah. There's a new player guide, which me and Kata said before, and it's like it needs to be like fucking stapled across the ETF2L front page, not just in some news post. And in like, when you scroll over the options at the top of the menu and like it's a drop down list, it's under one of them at the moment for season 13. I think it really needs to be more prominent. Process has replaced Gravel Pit in the map pool. There's a pro version of Turbine 2, which will have all the proper spawns, which Honey Mustard is taking care of. There's a lot stricter rules coming into place. Nicknames must be used. I don't know who could have gotten that rule brought around. Could have been anyone. STV demos must be uploaded for Premiership games. I didn't read the full bit about no more late matches, but I presume it's more strict. Like you can only use your wild cards. There's nothing else you can do to get around it.
Well, basically, it's like when you get the warning for playing it late, that warning doesn't just go away when you play it, and that kind of shit. Because up to now, like you would get a warning for not playing a game, but then as soon as you played the game, it was like, okay, well done, we'll take away the warning and act like nothing happened, which was obviously pointless because you were just like, you fucking like you play the game.
There's no actual
then
punishment.
the warning's gone. Yeah, the warning's gone before you play another game, so you're never gonna stack the warnings unless you're Autobots.
Unless you
Find a way to fucking do the impossible.
Also, a second major warning now deducts 2 points. So if someone wants to do an Autobots next season, they'll actually get -2 points, not -1 for a complete season. I think that's it from the news post. I don't think I missed anything.
That's pretty good.
I think the unlock rules are basically the same as before. It's vanilla.
Also, there's like a season 13 hub now. If you click season 13, normally it's just a bunch of bullshit, but now it actually has like all the information you want to find, like the prizes, the format, the schedule, that kind of shit. Normally it's just like a big like ETF2L is the biggest league in TF2. Join it now and suck my dick and play it, or I don't even know what it said, but it was complete garbage.
And the
Basically,
Hall of Fame and stuff.
yeah,
Might be paraphrasing.
it didn't tell you anything that it should have told you, but now it does. Like the only thing wrong, I think, with the setup now is that like season 13 signups are open or whatever isn't on the front page unless you look at the news post, like scroll down all the way to it. And this new players guide is kind of under the season 13 newcomer guide. Like a newcomer probably isn't going to click season 13 as soon as they come to the site. They're going to click like news, forum, whatever. And if it's not the convenient time, they're not going to see it. Like I think those two things should just be on the front page, like
Also,
always visible, whatever you're doing on the site.
Yeah, once stuff happens, that news post with the new player guide is going to get bumped down to like whatever, like 5th page by the time like major Premiership games start getting advertised there, etc. And like new cups. So it really needs to be in somewhere a bit more prominent.
Yeah. All right. Is that? I think that's pretty sure that's everything for this Pirate Radio. Unless anybody has anything else they want to mention.
Shout out to TEZC for carrying land drinking.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see you next week, guys. Will we do on Sunday? I doubt we'll do on Sunday. It kind of depends what happens in the next 5 days or however many days it is. Other than that, see you in a week and a bit. Bye.
Bye.